All right. Well, we're going to get straight into this here. This is video number 2. It's our first day of running Google Ads for Tyler's account. We've been running the ads to wise.quoteinformer.com. For those who are coming in to see what we've been doing, this is the white label that Tyler has purchased and we have run ads to today. We know the average conversion for this white label is anywhere between 7 to 10% of clicks. But we also know running our advertising in the beginning that our cost per click is going to be higher because what we are doing is we're taking a cold approach to search. So we have created a couple campaigns. Today we ran our first campaigns and spent $100 on this campaign. We got 41 clicks, no leads, no phone calls. Now, most people would look at this and they would go, oh, well, that's not good results. That's typical for Google. Let me just lay that out here at the beginning of this video. Google takes a couple days, maybe even a week, for it to prioritize your ads and put it in front of the people who are most likely to convert. So that's why with our total agency automation program, when you come on board, we apply a portion of your deposit to your first couple campaigns on Google, because that first period of ad spend is typically not going to result in necessarily getting leads. It's going to result in feedback of what we need to do moving forward on your individual campaign, on your individual ad account, to make sure that you get the proper results you're looking for. So we ran 2 individual group campaigns, one for a focus on Maryland and one for a focus on Pennsylvania. Found out this morning that it wasn't really converting at the best cost per click. We're about $2.5, which is still 50% less than what the industry average for insurance is at 4.5. So we're okay there. I wanted to take a quick look at the individual keywords that people are searching, or I should say searching, that they are clicking to our website from, that we have put out as a focus. And then we'll look at the actual search terms that people are using and the ads that are popping up in front of them. Okay. So for now, what we need to do with our keywords is we need to look at a couple different metrics. We obviously want to look at the ones that generated clicks, and we want to look at the ones that generated impressions. So our first step here is to look at the total impressions and find anything with a 0 and turn it off. Okay. Now, mind you, this is the first day of ad spend. I got $50 per group for the day. So it's about $100 total for the day that we've spent. So those 4 right there, we can go ahead and we can remove. We'll let that remove, let it refresh. There they are removed. We want to scroll down to the bottom and we want to see if there's any more with a 0. There isn't. Okay. Now that we've checked the ones that are zeros, we need to look at the ones that have the most impressions, right? And go from, or I'm sorry, the least amount of clicks, right? And go from there. Then what we'll do is we'll end up with the ones that have the most impressions and clicks, and we'll determine which ones we want to keep. But from all of these that did get impressions, especially the ones in the 100 range, we want to turn those off, right? Because 100 people saw that ad and nobody clicked through on it, right? So I'm going to select that one at 100. This one's 78, 0, 71, 0, so 69 as well. We'll turn those off. And let's see if we've got any more with zeros in the 100 range. Doesn't look like we do. So let's go ahead and let's remove the selected keywords. And these are the keywords that we did trends.google.com first to pull those keywords up before we started these campaigns. Okay. Let that remove and then it'll refresh. Refresh the page. A little slow today here with this Zoom call recording it, but be all right. We can get it to load. Bear with me here as we fight some slow internet. Okay. So we have the ones that are removed. We can then look at all the clicks that resulted in 0. The ones with very, very low impressions, we're going to keep on just in case they decide to become, a conversion type keyword over the weekend. The closer we get to the end of the weekend, the more of these we're going to turn off. As you can see, these right here that we've turned off, again, the 70s and the 60s, they didn't result in any clicks. So the last thing that we need to do in this situation is we need to look at the total cost and total clicks, right? Then we can look at the average cost per click over here on the right-hand side. Our average cost per click is coming in at about $2.50, but what we want to do is get those clicks anywhere between 80 to $1.50. So 80 cents to $1.50. Insurance agent, boom, that one right there is a winner. It only generated 1 click. We got in front of 146 people, but the cost for that click was low. So we got in front of more people, we got a click, and the cost per click was low. That is what we're looking for right there, right? So we have this one set. We're going to keep that one. We're not going to do anything to it. Same for here. The cost per click is a little bit high, but we did get a click basically per 100 people, right? So we're going to keep that one on and let it keep running. A few other ones here that I'm looking at right off the bat are the ones that are in the $3 range. We only got 2 clicks, 139 views. Insurance quotes is the keyword. May not want to keep that one just because the cost per click is so high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off any of these keywords that are in the $3 range. This one though is a little bit different because we only got 8 impressions and they clicked right away. So this one I'm going to keep, but the others that are in the $3 range, like this one, insurance quotation. Then we have insurance quotes. Those 2 right there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off. So edit and remove. So what we did here is we identified the 0 impression keywords and we removed them. We then identified the 0 clicks per 100 right here as an example, and we removed them. And then the last thing that we did is we looked at the average cost per click and we removed them based on the highest, right? So we removed this one and this one. The only reason we kept this one down here is because it got 1 click and 8 impressions. So that means that the intent for that person to click through was extremely high because we were hyper focused on their keyword search term. So they put in PA insurance quotes and by golly, we showed up first and they clicked, right? So 8 people, 8 individuals got in front of their eyes with this keyword specific term, PA insurance quotes, and they clicked through, one of them did, out of 8. That's some pretty good numbers right there. So I can justify that $3.14 click, okay? The only other thing that we can do here is we can look at the actual independent keywords and see which ones we don't really like. And I'm going to look at the ones over here that got clicks and just get rid of some that I don't like. That like, for instance, insurance price, we can get rid of that. Auto insurance comparison is okay. We've got State Farm insurance quotes here, and they only got a couple impressions, so we're going to remove those. Free auto insurance quotes, that's fine. We can keep that. Insurance price comparison, we can keep that, I guess. We're going to get rid of cheap, right? Best auto insurance rates, best insurance rates, get a quote. Get a quote is very broad, so we're going to turn that one off. If it said get an insurance quote, maybe we can change that, right? So get an insurance quote. See if that does anything and changes it at all. Okay. And then let's look for a couple other ones here, like these State Farm auto quote and State Farm quote. None of these, we don't want those because they're specifically looking for State Farm. So we're not going to be highly competitive with that because we're not that brand, right? Other than that, insurance quote near me is good. The rest of these down here, free insurance quotes, we could probably remove that one because we don't want the word free in our keywords. But other than that, auto, home, cheap, we want to get rid of cheap. So we selected 10 of these keywords that we're automatically going to remove just based off of what they look like. And they didn't really get any results anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and remove these. So that's really all we need to do. That's going to be, the primary daily effort that your team members or whoever decides to manage these ads in the future has to go through. They come in, they sit down, they pull open the ads, they look at the keywords, they decide which ones that are getting good results and which ones aren't, and they remove the ones that aren't. Okay. So now that we're done with keywords, we want to come over here and we want to look at search terms on the left-hand side underneath negative keywords. We want to look at search terms, okay? So this is what people are actually putting into Google and what we are showing up for. And as you can see, we're showing up to a lot of broad matches, and we want to remove these by making these excluded, right? But we want to find the ones that are converting to good click-through rates and good costs, right? So as you can see here, these clicks are all 1-for-1 on impressions. So that means that it's highly relevant. So we're going to keep that information, right? It's these here at the top that I'm a little concerned about, because the cost per click is low, but that keyword search term IAAI. So if we go to Google and we search the same thing, people trying to buy a car. So not necessarily a bad type of person to be targeting, because if they're looking to get a car, right, then that would be something for you to approach them on to give them coverage, right? So maybe we keep that one. Same with Carfax. If people are looking for Carfax, they're looking for what? Probably a new car. So that's a decent keyword search term. We can keep that there if that cost per click was affordable, right? So $240, that's okay. Now this one right here, progressive login. We don't necessarily off the bat want to rank against Progressive and Geico. It just automatically popped up there, and that cost per click is pretty high. So we're gonna follow the same steps here that we did before. Since all these did get a click, right? They only show up because they got a click. We're gonna go through and we're gonna look at the cost per click and remove any of them that are in the $3 range. All right. So we want to come here to Progressive login, get rid of that. Best SUV deals for seniors, get rid of that. This one right here, free insurance in Espanol, get rid of that. We're not doing Spanish. Maryland PUA benefits, get rid of that because it's in the $3 range. This one right here, PA Fair Plan, get rid of that. And PA PUA Portal, get rid of that as well. Okay, so we've got all of those selected, and all we have to do is add this as a negative keyword, meaning we do not want to get in front of people who are searching these keywords. So we're going to add that as a negative keyword. Okay. So negative keyword list. We're going to add it to the actual ad group. Okay. Click on save. And as you can see, we've excluded these keywords. So if somebody searches these keywords, our ads will not pop up in front of them again. All right. Now we can look at the other average cost per click, like this one, Assurian Home. That one's almost $3. So let's unselect everything since we already excluded some, and let's do one more pass through on this cost per click here and see which ones are too high for the keywords, right? So Carfax, we'll keep that for now just because those people are searching for a car. Assurian Home, we're going to get rid of that because it's in the $3 range. So we'll get rid of that. It's $297. It's close enough. This one right here, Insurance One Group, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that because it's in the $3 range. See this one right here, Gerber Life Insurance Login. Let's get rid of that because it's in the $3 range. And, you know, as long as it's under $2.75, we won't get rid of it here because our average cost per click is $2.46. It's about $2.50. That's still around 50% less than the average cost per click for the insurance industry, which is about $4.50. Okay. So last thing we need to do here real quick, add these ones that we just selected as negative keywords and save. All right. So that's all we really need to do on the keywords and the ads themselves. If we want to take a quick overview of what happened to the ads today, we got 41 total clicks with 2.68 thousand impressions for $100. Not terrible. And I'll tell you why, because we were able to find out down here on our actual search ads, the individual ads, which ones performed best. So this is the one that performed best out of all of them, got the best results, right? Out of 940 impressions, we got 13 clicks. If we go to the next one, out of 692, we got 8 clicks, pretty good. As you can see, the click-through rate is about 1.5 to 2%. 506, we got 9 clicks, but boom, this is the one that I want you to focus on, right? Because this one right here has such a high click-through rate of 4%. That means that our average cost per click is most likely over time going to be lower or lowest, okay? So let's go back through all of these and see which ones we can turn off or pause. So these are already paused because they weren't getting any clicks. This one, very highly attuned to what our target market is looking for in the state of Maryland. This one's pretty good at 1.78%. This one's pretty low at 1.16, right? So out of all of these ads, if I were going to turn off any of them, it would be this one with a 1.16% click-through rate. I don't think I'm going to do it today just because it's our first day. So I'm going to let these run through the weekend to see what we get over the weekend, right? Now let's look at these over here. Keywords by click, you can filter, as well as keywords by impression. So what we got in front of people for, right? This is going to change over time as we get rid of stuff like freeway insurance and Espanol. This one we want to add as a negative keyword, right? Save. But other than that, the rest of this looks pretty good. We already added this as a negative keyword, I think, but we're going to go ahead and add it again just to be sure. Let's add this. Let's see, Chip covers kids, chipcoverspakids.com. Children's health insurance. Okay. Well, we're going to get rid of that because we're not offering health insurance. So we're going to take this, add as a negative keyword. Save. All right. But other than that, if you want to come through some more details, you can come in and see where all these clicks and impressions are coming from, which is directly within our target market, these 4 states. Primarily, obviously, Pennsylvania and Maryland. There's some in New Jersey over here and some in Delaware. But as we can see, that Pennsylvania, Maryland is going to be the bulk of where these clicks come from. Other than that, we can see the time of day when those impressions came through, and it was over people's lunch period. So we will see that throughout the evening, this will stay dead until we hit midnight because our spend is $50 per ad group, one for Maryland, one for Pennsylvania. So it's gonna be $100 total each day. And as you can see, we spent our 102 and Google shut off our ads, okay? So the only other thing that we need to do is take a quick look at our analytics. I have a Google Analytics account set up here where we've integrated a couple tags with his white label, wise.quoteinformer.com, so that as we get traffic to the website, clicking from search, we can then in the future turn back around and we can target them with display. So that's retargeting, right? We'll stay in front of their eyes on whatever website they're on. It doesn't necessarily have to be that they are currently searching those keyword terms in Google. It's just that they did it in the past and it sent them to our landing page, all right? So if we look at the results total for today, it shows you exactly what we got from Google Ads. 41 total users, which was 41 clicks, and we can see that half of them go to the website and back out. And why did half of them go to the website and back out? Because half of our keywords were not highly focused on what we were trying to approach, which is getting people who need an insurance quote now. So that means that half the people went to the website, figured out, oh, you know what, this isn't what I'm looking for, and they backed out. So over time, this will obviously decrease, but this is right about where it needs to be. 24-second session duration. This means that people take about anywhere between 15 to 25 seconds, maybe 15 to 30 seconds, to make a decision when they bounce on that website or land on that website, whether they're going to click to call the agent or they're going to start filling out the quote form. We can track that. Now, knowing that our bounce rate is 52%, that means that out of the 41 people that went to the website, we should have about 25 people who started the quote process. So let's check that out real quick and see if we're on the same page. We want to make sure that these numbers, and we use Typeform for our forms here, we want to make sure that these numbers are congruent to what we're seeing on Google. And this is how you can verify your exclusivity 100% from your marketing efforts, is by using individual customized funnels and tracking the traffic from Google to your landing page. We'll be able to track tomorrow if there were any click to calls or any actions like that on the website itself. But when people land on quoteinformer.com, starting this process is recorded when they click that button that says enter my zip code. So if we go to results, we should see about 24, 25 people who have started that process. Boom. 23 views of the form, just like this, where they opened it up and started. And let's take a look at what happened to people as they started. So 23 people started the form. After they started it, only 4 people kept going past the zip quote. I'm sorry, the zip code. 3 people made it to what's your full name without exiting. Only 2 people made it to what type of quotes do you need today. And out of those 2 people who got to that point and started doing the whole process, 1 person almost made it all the way to the end. So let's look at this. Look, 1 person went all the way through all these questions, but they fell off at street address. Why? Because what we're looking for is we're looking for people to trust our brand. This conversion rate over time, over the next month, we'll be able to look back and see, on average, about 7 to 10% of the people who start this process will finish and complete the quote. And over that next month, what we're going to do is keep managing our Google ads so that over time we get rid of the keyword search terms and the search phrases that are resulting in the highest cost per clicks. So as we get rid of the high cost per click keywords and search results, then what that does is drive down our average cost per click over time. So by the time we run our 3rd and 4th campaigns over the last weekend of the first month, our average cost per click is anywhere between 80 to $1.50, maybe $2 per click, once we find the keywords that result in those results. Okay, that's when this becomes affordable, and your average cost per lead ends up being about $15 for somebody to complete an entire long form. All right. This person went all the way through and they entered their auto and homeowner information, but quit on homeowner's information, did not go to life. And then when we got to that point, they started putting in their street address and they left, right? So we can assume 2 things out of this. 1, they didn't trust us enough to give us their personal information, so they weren't going to complete the quote anyway. That's why this stuff is at the bottom, because we want to have somebody who has a certain level of intent to get the quote that they're looking for, right? The only other option is that when they got to the address, something popped up, they didn't have enough time to complete it and they left, right? So either they didn't trust us enough, they didn't want to share their personal info after doing all those steps, or they just didn't have the time to complete the form all the way, because it takes about 4 to 5 minutes for somebody to complete this form. Okay. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because what we can do is we can see that all these people who came to our website, we can now, under our audiences, in the future, once it starts recording, where was it? Give me a second. Audiences overview. We have, I just set up the tag today, so it may not be registering quite yet. So let's change to today and apply. And it's still not registering yet because we only had 40 people laying on the website. But over time, we'll be able to track all those users who hit our website, retarget them with display. Okay. So that's pretty much all we're going to review today. It's pretty basic. We're just looking at the results from our first day of ads. This is typical. You're going to spend 150, 250 bucks on Google before you start to see really good results, because Google takes maybe a weekend, maybe a week, just depending on your market area, to really get that conversion type consumer and to understand who's going to convert the easiest. Okay. And this is just a basic search ad to start getting traffic to the white label, so that we can not only figure out what keywords we need to put in our ads in the future when we create new ones, but also to start building up that retargeted ad tag, so we can go back and we can run those display ads to these people here, starting in the second month after we run these search ads for a month, and really nail down this target market. If we have really good results and we find a really low cost per lead and people start to convert, then we'll flick on the display ads. And that may happen this weekend. It may happen next weekend. We don't know. But until we know what's working, we don't want to start retargeting people who don't really have interest in what we're offering. All right, guys, that's it for today. Very basic. We just wanted to go through what's happening here with the ads. This is day 1. We're going to take this step by step. You guys are going to get 50 hours of info over the next 3 months, and you'll be able to apply that to your business and make better educated marketing decisions. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Jump on risepage.com, create your account. I'll be on there every day. If you don't have any questions in particular, at least get into Facebook at #lead generation in the group section. That group is always running, and that's where I'm posting all this info. Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk to you later.